Talk video, I will cover cold weather and winter working. I will discuss the risks associated with working in colder conditions and how to minimise them. As we enter the winter months and temperatures begin to drop drastically, it is important to be aware of the risks associated with the cold weather, especially when working outside. This is especially relevant for industries that work outside the majority of the time, for example, construction, agriculture, and road maintenance. During this time, workers will be exposed to cold temperatures and unfavourable weather conditions such as rain, snow, wind, and frost. These types of working conditions can lead to cold stress, which occurs when skin temperature is driven down and eventually body temperature too. Wind can take heat away from your body and make the temperature much colder than what it is. In addition, snow and rain can make your clothing wet, making you lose body temperature a lot faster. There are a number of risks associated with cold weather, one being hypothermia. Being cold over a long period of time can cause a drop in body temperature. You can be at risk of hypothermia if the body temperature drops below 35 degrees Celsius. Hypothermia is a condition in which the body uses up its stored energy and can no longer produce heat. Some early signs to spot include shivering, fatigue, confusion, slurred speech, and loss of coordination. If you suspect someone has hypothermia, you should move them to a warm place, lay them down, and gently remove any wet clothing. Using available sources of heat, the person should be warmed gradually and slowly. Be extra careful if the person is unconscious and avoid rough handling. Hypothermia can progress to a life-threatening condition when shivering stops or if they lose consciousness. Another risk associated with cold weather is frostbite. This is a severe condition when the skin and underlying tissues, which is the fat, muscle and bone, freeze. Skin will appear white or grey, waxy and hard to touch. Frostbite most often affects the nose, ears, cheeks, chin, fingers or toes. Symptoms include reduced blood flow to hands and feet, numbness, aching and a tingling and stinging sensation. If you or someone else are displaying signs of frostbite, you should move to a warm place immediately. Do not rub or massage the area and do not warm the area until you can ensure that it will stay warm. Warm the area gradually. This could be done using body heat or warm water, but avoid direct heat which can burn the skin and cause more damage. Frostbite can be very serious and may result in amputation, therefore medical help should be sought as soon as possible. Another risk is trench foot. This is an injury to the feet and it occurs when feet are exposed to wet and cold conditions for a prolonged period of time. This can occur at temperatures as high as 15.5 degrees Celsius if the feet are constantly wet. Signs to look out for include redness of the skin, tingling or stinging sensations, blisters, and bleeding from under the skin. If you or someone are displaying signs of trench foot, you should remove the footwear and the wet socks immediately. Dry the foot, slowly warm, and then keep dry. There are several things that you can do to prevent injury when working in cold conditions. Firstly, check the weather. Check the weather forecast for the days or weeks ahead that you are working. Listen to wind chill warnings and Met Office warnings based on your local area. Dress in layers and make sure you wear protective clothing. Layers will help you to insulate your body away from the cold. Several layers of loose clothing is a much better insulator than one thick coat. Layering your work clothes also allows you to shed layers throughout the day if the temperature rises. It's also ideal to have a wind-resistant outer layer too. Always remember to remove all wet clothing on your body and replace it with warm, dry ones. It's important to ensure that your layers do not interfere with the issued PPE. Bring extra socks. Thick socks and boots mean your feet will sweat more than you realise. Change your socks throughout the day or when they get wet to prevent trench foot. Provide areas of warm refuge or heated shelters for workers. Encourage additional breaks throughout the day to a warmer place. Wherever possible, barrier the work environment from the cold conditions. Try to avoid lone working. Instead, work in pairs so that you and your co-worker can spot the signs of the cold effects in each other. If you spot any of the signs mentioned earlier in the video, do not allow your co-worker to continue working. Encourage them to take a break in the warm and do not criticise them for being affected by the cold. Avoid becoming dehydrated by drinking plenty of warm, sweet beverages such as sugar water and sports drinks. Try to avoid caffeine if possible, such as coffee, tea, fizzy drinks or hot chocolate. If you have certain diseases such as diabetes or vascular diseases, be careful on how you expose yourself to the cold, as this can make you more susceptible to the cold conditions and the risks that they pose. Try to ensure you are getting enough sleep before your working day so that you're not exhausted whilst working. Tiredness will make you more susceptible to the cold temperature effects. If you require any support or advice about working in cold conditions and managing the risks that they pose, please do not hesitate to get in touch with the HBC team today.